Hello people, today we are post-commentating. This is a game that I played against Wingadon where I lost to Meric Bubble Shield spam. Um, Meric's got nerfed for that exact reason. I know their mana cost was increased, and something else, I can't remember, something else about them got nerfed, and it was because people have been doing this a lot. But I still ended up losing against it. So I'm going to spectate the match, do a replay analysis, breakdown, all that good stuff. Alright, so Wingadon is running Archidons, Speartons, Toxic Deads, Merics, Mass Heal, Toxic Totality, and Glacial Fletching. Now you all know how I feel about Mass Heal. I hate Mass Heal, probably because right now it's still too broken. But now to talk about my deck: Swords, Archers, Spears, Eclipses, Rage, Summoning Staff, and the Tower Spawn. Since the Spirit and Tower Spawn got buffed, I wanted to use it. So here we go. This is where I use the Summoning Staff to create the dead. That will allow me to upset the balance between my Archer and his, and allow me to defeat it. I would say Summoning Staff is really good for these 1v1 Archer fights. You have a very good chance of winning because you get that dead, which is a free melee tank, and you can dodge around it. Your opponent can get distracted by it, and even if they do sword archer like you, when your sword comes in, you're still going to have an advantage because you're going to have a dead. So anyway, just continuing on, he fell under some pressure, but he plays smart and goes for the early toxic dead. So this is where I decided to bring the tower spawn into play. Now, I have level 1 loaded right now. Now, there is a problem that I'm noticing with the tower spawns. For some reason, even when you research the upgrade, there's this ridiculous delay that happens before the first spawn comes out. I don't know why, because sometimes when you research it, it spawns immediately. But in my case, that Spiriton didn't come out for another almost 30 seconds after I researched the ability. So here we go. He pulls an absolute 5-head Chad move and he snipes poison on my Archidon. Now when this happened, I thought that he had Rune of Reanimation and that I was going to be screwed and this Archidon would die and come back as a dead. But as you can see, he doesn't have Rune of Reanimation. I thought I could use Rage to get into the castle on time, and it doesn't happen. The Archidon dies. And here we go. He has a Toxic Dead. So he has 2 Toxic Deads. He technically could go for tower right now and take it from me. All I have is this one Archer. I have a Wing on the way, and the Ghost Spawn. But he's choosing to respect it here. So the Merics don't come into play until way later, because right now he is still working on setting up his Toxic Dead mass to be able to defensively protect his economy. And you would think that 2 Toxic Deads is easy pickings. You are wrong for thinking that. These guys are tougher than they look, and he's playing smart by keeping at least one minor garrison to have a Castle Archer out at all times. Because with the range buff, that actually caused even more problems for me. Now I'm picking up a wing count of my own and looking to increase my archer count. But as you can tell, I have no answer to poison. And yeah, sure, that's my fault, but that's the thing with Stick War 3. It's a 50-50 chance that someone may bring something that you won't have an answer to. There's a 50% chance that I was going to face somebody who didn't even bother bringing anything involving poison, and a 50% chance that I do. And in this case, I ended up facing the ladder former. Is that where that term applies? In this case, it's the ladder. I have an Oxford dictionary or something so I can figure that out. Anyway, here we go. This is where he gets the first Meric, and perfect timing for it because a Meric on top of Chaos passive region is crazy, and he has the mass heal, which is another thing that I have to put up with. Mass heal, hashtag still broken, hashtag nerf it or get rid of it. And moving on from that, he has a very, very strong defense setup. With the Meric bubble shield, it's definitely possible. The main power in my army is in the ranged unit power. The Spiritans are not going to be good because they do extremely weak damage against heavy units, and they don't act as aggressive as they should. With the defensive crouch, that kind of renders it impossible. So ranged unit power is my only way of winning this, and he has Toxic Deaths that can tank it, Meric's which he can use the bubble shield for and heal the deads, mass heal, and he has Spiritans of his own that he could also build. But right now he's just opting for the Toxic Death setup. So we have the tier 2 Spiritan spawn, and I forced him back here and I managed to kill a Toxic Dead, but that's about as far as we get, because look at that. We are way away from his base, and his Castle Archer was still able to target me. So, you know, again, I understand why the Castle Archer range was buffed. It's to help combat the eco-sniping that lots of Archidon users are notorious for, but in some instances, it can be an extreme pain. So right now, we have the 3rd tier Spirit spawn loading, but as you can see, with 2 Merics already being out, his defense just grows ever more stronger, and once he picks up 3 Merics with the bubble shielding, that's already going to be extremely hard to counter. As you can see, we barely touched his Toxic Deads. All of the freaking damage was absorbed by the Meric shields. And again, they were nerfed to prevent this. Now, them costing 250 mana, it does make it harder for them to be able to mass, but I mean, look at this. He already has 3. With 3 Merics, you might as well say he can infinitely shield. If he times it right, he can infinitely shield. The Spiritan tower spawn is just getting crushed right now. So here I am trying to rush in, trying to make something happen here, even running in with my own Spiritan to cause problems, and we barely managed to pick off 1 Toxic Dead. I moved my Archidons away, thinking I could use the wings to stay there, but that damn Castle Archer is causing enough problems. Because of the Toxic Totality, he can do increased poison damage. We don't want to combine that increased poison damage with the damage from his Castle Archer. That would absolutely destroy us. So here is the final tier 2 tower spawn Spiritan. The next one that comes out will be the tier 3, and he will have 800 health. But unfortunately, as powerful as that may seem, with first-hand experience with this new tower spawn Spiritan, I can say that it's powerful, but it's absolutely worthless against a setup like this, where Toxic Deads can absolutely destroy it, and you have Merics with bubble shields to back it up. Now he has 4. You might as well say his defenses are now impenetrable. I am not able to break through this. Like I said, the power lies in the ranged unit count, and he can totally counter it with the Meric bubble shield. I realize this too, and that's why you see me massing a lot of extra Spiritans. I realized that just running in with a single tower spawn is not enough. I thought that by, putting the rest of my population into Spiritans, I can rush in and overwhelm him. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil the surprise and say it absolutely did not work. Check this out. 5 Spiritans. There's 4 there, run right there, 5. 5 Spiritans. They have 400 health apiece, right? We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. This is 2,000 health in Spiritans alone. Combine that with the level 3 Spirit spawn, we're talking a total combined health of 2,800. I'm running in with 2,800 HP worth of Spiritans. You would think that with something like that, we would come out on top here. It doesn't happen, watch. He prevails with this crap. Again, 2,800 health of Spiritons running in right now. I really did think that we were going to cause a multitude of problems. Me even trying to select Spiritons to use them to block off his damage. But he uses the mass heal number 1. And then that combined with the Toxic Dead power, the Meric Bubble Shield, and their healing, it's like the Toxic Deads took no damage. Guess what? That huge army that I created is dead. He now sees that he has the advantage and he's rushing in. So you see the problem here. Even with the nerfs to the Merics, this Bubble Shield spam is still extremely broken. It makes them way too tanky. So what are some possible counters or solutions besides getting rid of the stupid ability? Also, by the way, this is nothing but tragic for me. I stayed here because I thought I could clutch it out and get my next tower spawn. But it does not happen yet. Guess what? The tower spawn still comes out, but at the worst possible time in the history of this freaking planet. It comes out right after I lost everything. I gambled so hard on that one Spiriton and it backfired massively. So anyway, what are some possible solutions besides getting rid of the Meric bubble shielding? I would love that. I would love that more than anything, but I know it ain't gonna happen. I think one good way is to have some of these abilities cost mana. Right now, everything is too free here. Glacial Fletching at the start of a game. You can use Blazing Bolts, Voltaic Projectiles, all of that at the beginning of the game. In Stick Empires, to get Fire Arrows, you have to research it. But in this case, for free. Same thing with this Meric Bubble Shielding. Same thing with the Sword Wrath Jump, the Shadow Wrath Parry. I think requiring these abilities to cost mana would be a good way to help combat this. Like, Meric Bubble Shielding. Have it cost 50 mana to use. 50 or 30 mana. You know, I can throw in some extras. Sword Wrath Leap. That's damn good. Make Sword Wrath Leap cost like 30 mana to use or 20 mana. Let me think of another one. Magi Kill Fulminate. Maybe have that cost 50 mana to use. I think just having these abilities cost mana is going to require players to get a setup going with their mana before they can just do things like this and use this bubble shielding for free with absolutely no consequences. I'm pretty sure it was already planned for the abilities to cost mana, but I feel like it needs to happen sooner than later, otherwise you get things like this. And let me tell you, I was mad. I was pretty mad. Not at Wingadon, he played well. I was mad at the Meric Bubble Shielding and the fact that even though Merics were nerfed, you can kind of still pull it off with the right setup here. And the Toxic Deaths were the perfect example. They tanked long enough for the Meric spam to set up, and once it gets set up, you know, you're done. Now I know one thing that could have helped me there was Lightning Storm, but I didn't think about that. I just thought, hey, let's run in with the maxed out Spiriton Tower spawn and watch it do absolutely nothing. But anyway, that'll be all for this video. Hopefully the idea of making abilities cost mana will happen pretty soon, because I think that would help balance a lot of things out. Like, you can't just do this for free. If you want to use this ability, you gotta cough up the mana for it. And I think that would be very useful for powerful abilities like Sword Wrath Leap Attack, Meric Bubble Shield, Magi Kill Fulminate, and even the General's abilities. Making them damn things cost a ton of mana, even though only 2 Generals are somewhat decent. The other 2 are kind of trash, but I'm going off tangencies here. I will see you in the next one.